Hi everyone, that was Tempera from Manuel Garcia. He's a singer from from Chile. He's pretty good. He has done a lot of stuff. That was one of his solo things. I already put other works of Manuel Garcia on other projects like Taller de How. Taller de How is I love that band. It's so good. Hi there. Welcome, Kevin. I actually like Taller de How more than his solo stuff. That's just me. Alright, so what do I have today? I have something. This thing. So what is this? Let's go over it. So give me 1 second. I'm gonna open my door just a tiny bit. It's kind of very hot here, so just give me 1 second. Like something to put on the door. Alright, sorry for that. So we might see my cat too at some point entering the room. Yeah, it's getting hot here in Chile, sadly. I mean, it's fine. I like average temperature. That's my favorite temperature. I don't like hot. I don't like cold. Muchas fun. All right. How you doing, Gibger? So, what we have here, it's a run. This is the oldest recorded run of Eternal Darkness, and we're gonna watch it together. Okay, I'm gonna be doing some commentary over it. So I guess let's just go for it, okay? Let's just go. If people in the southern hemisphere suck, it's gonna start getting cold for me. Yeah, yeah. I mean, you suck too, because that's the thing. I don't like cold. I hate cold, but I also hate very hot. I'm okay with a little bit of hot, okay? Because this is like the kind of clothing that I like to use. Everything more than this, I get mad. But I also don't like to sweat. Thank you for the host, Givger. I also don't like to sweat every 5 minutes, you know? Glad it's cooling down here, I see. Alright, let's...
Don't you have to be somewhere?
Yeah. Thank you for the host too. Anyway, let's just go for it. So, hopefully the volume is good. I think I tested out a couple times and it should be alright. Keep in mind, the quality of this video is... It's like 240. It's a little bit different than that, but it's not exactly on 3.4 or 4.3 aspect ratio. It's something slightly different than that. So keep that in mind. The quality is not the best, but this is as much as I can get from here. Give me 1 second, I'm going to adapt. I think I have like a little bit of a line at the top. That should be good. Maybe one more. So what's going on right there, we already see that the runner knew some stuff about this game. So first of all, you actually have bullets on the dream that you can put more bullets. Another thing that already happened there is that they're getting the key immediately. We don't do that anymore. We don't get the dresser key in the beginning because you actually lose a little bit of time. We put it somewhere else in another Alex segment. So yeah, just for you to know, 2005 quality exactly. How long is this video compared to current world record? So this video, it's gonna be about 2 hours and a half, probably a little bit more, just because of how the timing works. But that's more or less the length of this thing. Okay. So this run was done by Matt Andy, by the way. He was, I mean they, because I actually don't know if they're They were the first runner of Eternal Darkness, so this is the very first recorded run, at least. There might be another one before, but we actually don't know. This is the first one recorded on SDA, so Speed Demos Archive, and it's from back 2005. Probably Dazzle Capture, yeah, for sure. Low Blood. And is because it's SDA days, this is actually segmented. It's not a single segment run, so you're gonna see several loading screens and several saves. Oh, they knew about that. Look at that. So we have fast pickups. Yeah, that's pretty cool. So fast pickups is when you put, every time you pick up an object, not every object, but certain objects will do a camera pan. The game will do a camera pan towards the object. And during that camera pan, there's certain frames where you cannot press B to keep advancing the examine and pick up the object. But if you put yourself between, or any actor really, but putting yourself, it's easier, the character, between, in the path of the camera pan, so between the object and the current camera, then you will get an instant snap into the item, and we call that a fast pickup. So like that one, for example. And you can just match B from there and get the pickup pretty fast. Another thing we get, like Giger say, no door attacks, of course. Even when I started speedrunning, there was no door attacks. That was actually discovered by Sir. I don't remember exactly when. It was 2019. Somewhere early 2019. So even Swiken era doesn't have that. Even the beginning of my first PVs don't have that. And another thing you can notice is I can bet you whatever you want that this run has been done on GameCube, not on Wii. Because I've seen, like, the loading times look too long for me, and the pause menus. Like when you put items, when you put the granite blocks on the previous puzzle, those look way too long for me. Yeah, actually, there wasn't even Wii that time, right? Yeah, no, there wasn't even a Wii. Yeah, right. And here's something interesting. So this is Zelda, who has released next year. Okay, yeah. Thank you for that. Memories. So that's the first segment. That's the Pious segment. So they save the game. Then this is another segment done on probably another day. Who knows? And SDA just adds up all the segments and gives a final time at the end.
I cannot say what was the true beginning.
Also, no subtitles. As far as I know, there isn't a difference between subtitles or not subtitles. We are going the other way on Elia. That's very interesting. Yeah, those are definitely GameCube loading times. That was way too slow. I can recognize that. So we don't go this way first on Elia because you see that little cutscene right there. That little cutscene, you won't see it if you go the other way first. Okay? So it's better to go the other way first to skip that cutscene. And you also, when you go back from this part, if you do this part first, the zombies will look at you, and that's some extra sanity damage that you don't want. Whereas on the other time, the zombies will never do that. I'm not entirely sure what that was, that pause. Don't really know. Yeah, that's the only reason why we do the other part first. The other zombie first. There's no other reason. Okay, so Matt Andy didn't know about fast killing on blue zombies. This zombie dies on 2 shots on the body because it starts singing, and that counts as a dead zombie. So that's the extra damage, just a little bit. Because those zombies only wake up when you enter from that entrance, which we never do on any percent. Another thing Mad Andy is doing right here is this setup for stamina. This is one of the early setups for stamina, which is running a little bit and then walking. And if you do it with this rhythm, I think you will never get tired. But it's extremely unoptimal compared to today's standards. Because now we know that sneak is better. And we also never want to get that close to low stamina, otherwise your stamina starts increasing slower. While here, I think Mad Andy is getting extremely close to low stamina because Elia was sounding like tired. And yeah, of course. So the reason why Mad Andy went on this road, I think it's because of the red zombie on Celta, which means if you go first to the red one, you have to kill it to go back. Whereas here, they don't have to go back because they don't have to kill the red zombie. On today, I think you can still kill the red zombie faster than watching the cutscene, I think. But for that time, it was probably better because I bet they didn't know anything about enemies' HP. We started figuring out enemy HP way later, like in 2019. And yeah, no setups for traps. It pretty much seems like they are reacting. You can run straight there. You don't have to stop here on those blades. So it really feels like they're just reacting to the traps instead of having a set of predetermined strats. This fucking quality is amazing. I love it. Can barely see what's going on, but I bet you can see it. You can infer what's going on. So metal stab, we gotta go back now. There's still no way to skip this part. Toes was the only one that got kinda close to hypothetical skip. If there is a way to clip into the stairs, then you can enter into the door, but there's no way to clip into the stairs yet, so yeah, this is just reaction. You can just run straight here. And they're gonna get caught by the zombie a little bit there. And then, so the stamina, remember, you will lose a stamina every time you run. And you recover stamina when you walk, and when you sneak, and when you stay just doing nothing. That's a sanity effect right there, by the way. Thank you for the follow. There is bugs in the screen. You barely see them, I think. But I saw them. There was bugs in the screen. My guess is that Mad Andy redid this segment until they didn't got any sanity effects. Because with this speed, you can actually run into sanity effects. Especially with the lower sanity. Yeah, it's actually pretty hard to find. This run is actually not even on SDA. Because the last run submitted to SDA was Old Scope run. The 2 hours something. That's another sanity effect. It's auto attack. So even 2 sanity effects on this speed. And I don't really know how SDA works, but it always redirects you to the last run submitted. So I wasn't able to find Mad Andy's run. I actually got this run from like a wiki, and then this was updated, uploaded to YouTube by someone else as documentation for it. And what you're seeing right here is I download all the segments because all of them are separated. And I match all of them together so we can see it on just one video. Is left here faster than right? Or does it not matter? Wait, what do you mean left and right? Left and right where? On the Mantork part? That's another segment, by the way. So that's the... Around Mantork. Left, it's always faster. Just by a little amount, because you're coming from the left on the passage, so you want to stick to the left part. It's just because of that. It's like a tiny difference on distance. So, they didn't grab the Gladius, which is optimal.
It is apparent
The optimal grab for the Gladius is right here on Alex 3, because otherwise you have to walk a little bit more if you grab it later. So you always want to grab the Gladius right after you get Anthony's pages. So they will have to grab it later. Somewhere. Unless... No, never mind. I was thinking about Enchanted Gladius, but you still need the normal Gladius to advance.
We should get out of here.
You have proven what we have feared the most.
We'll see what interesting things we have for Anthony. So, something for you to think about it. The game was pretty much glitchless. Almost glitchless. Except for one glitch. Up to 2019. Okay? The first glitches and skip were on 2019. Just for you to think that. This is 2005. Okay, so don't expect any glitches. If there is one, I'm gonna be extremely surprised. And I'm gonna have to put that on the document timeline that I have. And that's definitely one of the reasons why I want to watch this. I haven't watched this, by the way. I watched some bits, but I actually wanted to watch it on the stream because I think it's more interesting. Just give some inside commentary about it. So something you can do when you do pickups, and what I do, is you can turn around with sneak. So when you're turning around, you hold X, and then while you're holding X, you press B. And because you're sneaking and you're not running, you can pick up the item, and the sneak turnaround is more optimal. Because you saw there Mad Andy going like a very long turn for the item, and that's because when you run, the camera doesn't help very much. Okay, so this is the slow, that's like the slowest way to kill this zombie, or out of the slow setups, that's the fastest one for sure. We just going for head attacks over and over. The next attacks, once you get rid of the head, the next attacks will be on the body actually, not on the head. And yeah, so you have to kill, you end up killing the body of the zombie, not the head, because you cut the head with the sword. And once you cut them, you can't damage them anymore. Unlike with blunt weapons, like the fist, where you can damage and kill the head, defeat the head, quote unquote, over and over. And of course that means once you defeat the zombie, you still need to finish it, because it's not on low health. If you kill it with low health, then it gives you the rune immediately, which is the setup we use. Yeah, they got the sword, that's actually good. That sword, it's gonna save a lot of time. I think the main reason for that is because whole chapter without the sword, you only get the mace, and that's super awful. The mace is the worst weapon in the game, for me at least. I hate it. So you better get that. So this is urns. You need to get all the urns, enchant them, then fill them to solve the urn puzzle. And yeah, just as when I started speedrunning this game, you can do all that without worrying for the zombies, because they fight each other, so it's fine. Thank you for the follow, Freya. How are you doing? And so you see there, you just have enough time for all the zombies. Here you can actually do a body attack instead. Body attacks insta-kill Mandrake zombies, and there is actually enough space on that passage. It doesn't look like it, but there is enough space for a body attack. Because if you go for a head attack, it's gonna cut the head, and then you still need to kill the zombie for a body attack. So that's the 3 urns. That's the all puzzle. I did this same thing on my first runs. And not even in my first, like for a while. Earn skip was on like when I had like a 2-hour 5 or so, or 2-hour 7.
So, you have come to return.
Let's see this fight. This fight will be interesting. What are they doing? Okay, they're going for the hand. The hand was a miss input. They're going for the head then. Okay. And as I can see for the hand attack, it seems that Matt and they didn't know about attack cancels. Attack cancels when you do a run right after an attack and you stop the target. So that's what I was talking about. You can insta-kill with body attacks with the sword. So maybe they knew actually. But it seems that they're not very familiar with attack cancels. Okay, this is a slow setup for the trapper. Yeah, just trying to decoy the trapper. So actually, this is very old. You have to get kind of lucky there for the trapper to walk away very far, because they're not even going for the door. Oh, look at this. They're taking the 30 seconds. That's crazy. Okay, not all of it. So, on that inverted room, there's actually 2 beep prompts. There's one very close to the door that triggers a door close sound and doesn't do anything. And then if you advance a little bit, there's another trigger, another beep prompt, that if you press, you're gonna get rid immediately of the effect. So if you get the effect, you only have to walk a tiny bit to deactivate it immediately. Alright, horror fight. I'm gonna bet for 3 hits, because that was the standard when I got into the game. 3 hits on the head. Let's see. Oh, it's also set a horror, so it has to be that, yeah. Yeah. So 3 hits on the head kills the horror. Look at that loading time, it's crazy. That's why you don't run on GameCube today, by the way. Loading times are so much longer. It's crazy. And that's Anthony. And I'm guessing this is gonna be an entire segment, so we're gonna see a save file. Yep, there you go. So 19 minutes so far on the segmented time, at least. How much would you say GameCube loads at over the entire run? At least a minute. Last time I measured, I think it was, no, actually it's more than a minute. I think it's, my last estimation was somewhere in the lines of 1 second per minute. So it depends on how long the run is. But then if the run is 1 hour, then you have a minute. So here, a 2-hour run, like 2 hours and a half, it's gonna be like 2.5 minutes, I'm guessing. It's an estimation, by the way, because it's bearable. Alright, just getting Kareem's page. Alex segment looked pretty normal.
Modern psychology of
Does running off SD USB for modded Wii save time with the disc? Would that be allowed? No, that's not allowed. It would save a lot of time, because USB times, loading times are broken. So we don't allow internal emulators of Wii, like Nintendo and such, because they pretty much load as fast as Dolphin 1.5 stable, which is also a not allowed version of Dolphin, because it's not fair compared to actual hardware. Okay, so that actually doesn't do anything, doing damage to that zombie, because green zombies always look at you, even if you cut the head. And then I think Matt Andy cut the head, one arm, and maybe the other arm, because they didn't have to finish it. Why isn't in-game time using this game? Because in-game time, first of all, we don't get in-game time at the end of the game, so it's hard to get. You only get in-game time when you save. We don't really want to save on a single segment run, ever. And the last save is before the last battle, so you wouldn't be able to calculate the other in-game time. And the other, there's, I guess, two more reasons. We don't know enough about in-game time, like when it's not going on. I think it's always going on, but I'm not sure. You can run immediately there, by the way. The trappers will start singing and it's just faster. And the other reason is I've been trying a lot, but I never found the memory address of in-game time. So even if you could get, you know, your save file into an emulator, I won't be able to tell you your in-game time because I don't know where it is. Cutting the head of all the zombies. Cutting the head of the first zombie is actually a safe strat that is reasonably good. I don't do it, I just trigger an attack because it's faster, but it's not that bad. So cutting the heads from behind, that's a fast way to kill this horror. Attacks from behind on the horrors do double damage, so you can cut the heads from behind with the toolbar. And then chakrams, okay? For the trapper, I'm assuming? Yeah, okay. So they really fear the trapper. Hello, Big No-No. This is in the stone ages before light split. Yeah, of course.
This isn't really happening.
Yeah, and you can see they don't know about attack cancels. Attack cancels is a very important trick on this game. I think it's one of the basic tricks that you should learn to make combat easier for you. Because combat, if you don't know about attack cancel, it can get kind of tricky. Okay, so here's something interesting. Matt Andy is doing overhead attacks. First of all, you don't need them. It seems that they realize in the middle of the fight, you can kill them with body attacks. And more important than that, you can kill these zombies with toolbar. Just toolbar does 10 damage. Mantrok have 10 damage on their body. When you defeat the body, the zombie dies. So you can defeat it with toolbar. It's actually faster because toolbar is a faster weapon. One animation of the toolbar is shorter than an animation. So yeah, the other thing about overhead attacks, sometimes they only can cut the head. And they are slower too.